Call the Tuesday, December 4th, 2012, City of Oldsmar Council meeting to order. Before we get started with the invocation, I want to recognize some young men that we have with us today. We have the Boy Scout Troop of 407 and the Boy Scout Troop of 64. And we want to welcome those gentlemen here this evening. And we're going to let Troop 407 lead us in the pledge after the invocation. And at this time, I'd ask you to please rise for the invocation, which will be done by our City Attorney, Mr. Tom Trask.
Our Heavenly Father, may we come to understand that blessings are everywhere, that our attitudes will affect outcomes, that challenges are often gifts in disguise. May we come to trust that most things can get better with time, that our instincts and gut feelings have value, and that a positive attitude makes things go smoother. And this we pray. Amen.
Amen. Will Troop 407 come up and lead us on the pledge, please?
Okay. All right, guys. Ready?
Please join us in the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, nice job, guys. First of all, I want to welcome everybody here this evening. It's nice to see so many of you here. Our first item on tonight's agenda is our Citizens Open Forum, and this allows anybody in the audience to address the council. We only have a few rules. First, I respectfully ask that you keep your comments to no more than 5 minutes. Second, please don't speak towards anything that's on tonight's agenda. And last, when you come up to the podium, please state your name and address for the record. And with that said, does anyone want to address the council? Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you. My name is Scott McGuff, 459 Cypress Lake Court, Oldsmar, Florida. Mr. Mayor, I'm here tonight to talk to you about the Holiday Sharing Fund. As you may or may not know, the Holiday Sharing Fund has existed for several years through the impetus and good work of our community policing officers. In the past couple of years, the Holiday Sharing Fund became a 501c3 charitable fund and incorporated in the state of Florida through the efforts primarily of our own Deputy Sarah, who's sitting in the back and doesn't really want to be lauded for that, but he deserves it. The mission of the Holiday Sharing Fund is to enhance the quality of Christmas for underprivileged children by providing bicycles and other charitable assistance and educating the community about the fund. In 2011, the fund provided 17 bikes to Oldsmar families and 15 bikes over in Safety Harbor through partnerships with the Oldsmar East Lake Rotary, the Maddie Williams Family Center over in Safety Harbor, and through the Mayor's Breakfast program. In 2012, we coordinated a Guns versus Hoses hot wing eating contest between Oldsmar and Safety Harbor firefighters against the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. Unfortunately, that day, Deputy Sarah and the PCSO guys went down in flames. And the firefighters were victorious. So as a reward, they got to decide where some of the charitable funds would go. The firefighters got 51%, and the police officers got 49%. And so the firefighters selected Oldsmar Cares, the food bank here in town, as a recipient of what the Oldsmar Fire Department folks had chosen. And the Safety Harbor firefighters asked that the money go to the Maddie Williams Family Center to help out over there. Mayor Ronacher and Mayor Steingol from Safety Harbor were judges for that event, and they did a good job. There were no fights broke out or anything like that. This year we also conducted a bicycle safety rodeo in partnership with Oldsmar Fire Department and All Children's Hospital. That was a pretty good success. We did it out here in the parking lot between the Senior Center and Council Chambers. And we had a Cub Scout pack come out and do that. And so we look forward to doing that again in 2013. This year we'll provide, it looks like about 21 bikes to Oldsmar families during the holiday season, and we'll probably provide 20 bikes over at the Maddie Williams Family Center in Safety Harbor. Primary reason for being here is that the Holiday Sharing Fund folks will be at the Mayor's Breakfast this year. And we'll have some items there that will be auctioned off as a fundraising effort. And we'll also have a bicycle there, which will be raffled off. So we hope that when council and the mayor arrive, that'll be one of the first things on your agenda is to buy a raffle ticket for that bicycle, because I can see the mayor riding that with his family. I think it'll be a sight to see. So the foundation is doing well. And we just wanted to thank you for your support and the support of folks that work in the city. And so as a thank you, we've had different types of challenge coins done. So I'd like to leave some with the city clerk, so each one of you can have a little remembrance and a thank you for the work that you all have put and helped us out with in 2012. Thank you and happy holidays to you.
Thank you.
Same to you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask our, our fabulous ex-retired fire chief how his retirement's going.
My retirement, thank you to all the citizens of Oldsmar. I had the most marvelous career. I really, when I stepped away and I retired last January, I've had a year to think about, retirement, and this past year really has been one of the best years of my life. And the city, as my employer, and all the people that I work with, made that possible. And so I am indebted so much to Mr. Haddock and all the councils that I got to work with, and all the firefighters that I got to work with. It's been really great.
We are indebted to you.
Is there truth to the rumor that the sheriffs want a donut eating contest for a rematch on the wing eating contest? Or?
It was during the wing eating contest, in order to salve their wounds, the firefighters did provide donuts to them so they wouldn't be sorry losers. There was a challenge issued, so I think we'll be doing that again, and they'll get a second shot at that.
Look forward to that. Thanks, Scott. Is there anyone else that wants to address the council? Yes.
Susan Oliver, 302 Washington Street, and I'm here to talk about Oldsmar Cares and a couple of things that we have coming up. Before that, I'd just like to say it's great to see all the scouts here. They did a wonderful food drive for Oldsmar Cares in November, and Troop and PAC 64 did a great job, and so we really appreciate that, those of you here tonight for that. Oldsmar Cares has coming up, actually right now the library, the public library, is doing their Food for Fines program. So if you have some overdue fees, you can bring canned or boxed goods to the library, and you can get those fees excused, up to $1 per canned good or boxed item, unopened, of course. That goes through the 22nd of December. And also in December, the Florida Farm Share Program is once again going to be giving out their fresh produce through Oldsmar Cares. That will take place at 163 State Road 580 West at our offices. Senator Jack Vala will be there also with some members of the Pinellas Legislative Delegation, and they will be giving away all kinds of fresh produce. Last year they gave away corn and squash, and they also had smoothies that they gave away and juice. So it's a great program. Last year about 500 pounds, I think it was, of food. Mike's not looking at me, but Mike's making me do this tonight because I just recently took on the position of vice chair, so he's trying to prep me to talk to you all on a regular basis. Now he's ignoring me when I look at him for help. Okay, so Tuesday, that will be Tuesday, December 18th, and again, it'll be at the Oldsmar Cares offices. It's between 9 and 11, so if you know of anyone that could benefit from some extra food during the holidays, families in need, all are welcome to come through and get their share of Florida Farm Share. And that's all.
Thank you very much, Susan. Is there anyone else that wants to address the council? Suda.
Sudiantis Cologne, 402 Arlington Avenue East, Oldsmar. Good evening, City Council, staff, Mr. Mayor, and our viewers in the community. As many of you know, we have a great event coming up this Friday at RE Olds Park, and Ms. Suda's dancers are honored to kick off the festivities again this year. We have a very special train that will be hitting the stage, packed with excited passengers to share a special performance. And tonight I brought a couple of those passengers along to tell you all about it. This is Sailor Roberts, known as the know-it-all on our Friends to the Train, and Phoenix Roberts, who plays our little sister Sarah. Come right over here, right here in front of the microphone.
Can't see her.
I'm gonna get, off we go.
I don't know why they call me the know-it-all. Maybe it's because I know this what the size of the train is, and how big it is, and how fast it is. Maybe it's and goes where all the stops are. But what I also know is that this Friday at 5 p.m., our very special train will stop at Christmas Wonderland hosted by the City of Oldsmar at RE Olds Park. And Miss Suda's dancers perform one year-end holiday recital, the Polar Express. Afterward, from 6 to 9, Christmas Wonderland opens with real snow that is fun for kids of all ages. Thanks, City of Oldsmar, for all the fun.
Thank you, Mr.
For a
Noto.
big part? Okay, here we go. We invite you. Oh, she's going to get shot. She performs in front of 200 guests, and all of a sudden she gets shot. We invite you to come and see our show and play in the snow, and we hope to see you there. And we want to wish a Merry Christmas to everyone. All you have to do is believe. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Anyone else want to address the council? Johnny. Hi, Johnny.
Mr. Mayor and City Council. Hi, my name is Johnny Ruckart, 203 Shore Drive East. I have a presentation to show you. Hello, everyone. This is my Eagle project plan. This will be in Veterans Park, Oldsmar, Florida. My project is putting this fallen soldiers memorial in Veterans Park. This will be a solid bronze statue representing the soldier's helmet, rifle, and boots. This is an aerial view of Veterans Park. The arrow is pointing to where the Eagle project would be. This is a closer-up view of where the project would be. I have drawn my vision of it with 2 benches on each side of the statue and a pathway leading up to the memorial itself. Next, I was thinking of a base for the memorial. This is just an example base in the picture to the left. I was thinking of building something similar to this. This project is for the Gold Star Mothers and Families organization. Here we have a budget estimation coming to a grand total of $4,936. Finally, this is a timeline I wrote up predicting when I will be done fundraising, when the project will be started and finished, and finally, when the presentation will be presented at the Fallen Heroes ceremony. Thank you.
Nice job, Johnny.
That is a wonderful project.
Glad to see you're going to be an Eagle Scout, but if you need any help with the fundraising, have your dad or mom call me and I'll get you some pre-printing to print up some brochures for this, because I think it's an outstanding effort by you.
Isn't it wonderful?
I approached the bench with.
Certainly.
We can put that on the website also.
I just want to let you know, by the way, my name is Craig Gross. What's our address? 711 Satin Leaf Avenue. This young man found out a night that I attended a Boy Scout meeting, and I announced that night that I was interested in putting one of these statues up. He says, no, I'll do it. So Tony and I had a dinner at Eve's Family Restaurant one night. We announced that we wanted to do this, and we just want to let the City Council know that Bright House Networks stepped up to the plate that night and donated $2,000 towards it.
Good job, Johnny.
You know, Mayor, that's going to be a good advertisement because Bright House is going to make a presentation of it.
Yes, yes.
Not right
Anybody
now,
else?
a little later.
Does anybody else want to address the council? Yes. Jerry.
Jerry Custin, Upper Tampa Bay Chamber, 101 State Street West. Just follow on Chief McGuff's thing with the mayor's breakfast. I'd like to invite everybody there. That'll be next Friday morning at Nielsen, May the 14th. And I do want to tell you, obviously, we're going to do some collection for the holiday sharing program, but of course, it's broader than that. We'll do some other things. But I would like to have everybody there, and Councilmember Beavis will be our MC for that, which I believe you know, right? Yeah, got that. But what I'd like to announce is that you will see the very first showing of a music video with Mayor Roniker and Mayor Steingold, which I expect to go viral. This thing, everybody like Call Me Maybe? Heard by Mayor Steingold and Roniker, that's all I'll tell you.
We filmed all day Friday afternoon.
Oh, good.
You never won an award for the last time y'all did this, did you?
No, we didn't.
Yeah,
A
how
video, that was a
come?
movie.
That was
That was a
great.
movie. Does anyone else want to address the council? Seeing as no one else, I will close the citizens' open forum. We'll get right into our council agenda. Tonight, our first item is our consent docket. And this evening, we have 3 items. The first item is to approve minutes of October 16, 2012 City Council meeting. Second item is to authorize the city manager to advertise for bids for construction of reclaimed water ASR project phase 3. And the last item is accept the resignation of Cassidy Fitzpatrick from the Leisure Service Advisory Board. And that's because she took a position with the library, right?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or wish to pull anything?
Nope.
If not, I take a motion.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Under City of Oldsmar, we've got the presentation of the council manager award, and Councilmember Beavis will be doing that.
Can I ask Susan to come up? Susan Oliver? This is a great award that the city started doing. I've received one, as have a lot of other people in the city, for contributions that they give that some people know about and some that some people don't know about. And Susan Oliver, I've known her for a while, and she's a teacher at St. Paul's School. She's been doing that for many years, teaching pre-K through 8th grade. At the Episcopal School in Clearwater. She's done that for 12 years, 2 years before her oldest son, Kyle, was born, and then 10 more after her youngest son, Dylan, was born, and started pre-K. Currently, she teaches the 6th grade social studies, where we explore the geography of Africa and Asia and the studies ancient civilizations. She also coordinates the resource program for middle school students requiring extra assistance. She's taught English at high school and middle school levels, as well as 7th grade social studies, finance, research, and writing skills. After school, she coaches 2nd, 3rd, 4th graders in various sports: soccer, basketball, hockey, tennis, and wiffle ball. And as we heard tonight, she has most recently been tapped as the vice chair of Oldsmar Cares, which puts her in line to assume the chair position this summer. She's got the big wine gala. When is that? February 21st, and she's been working on that committee as the restaurant and wine go-to gal. She's also helped coordinate the following activities: grant writing, maintaining the website, food for sharing program with Publix Boot Ranch, Florida Farm Share fresh produce giveaway with Jack Latvala, which she talked about tonight, Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive with the post office, Thanksgiving Bounty Food giveaway, the 19th hole golf tournament with the Chamber of Commerce, and various local business fundraisers such as Bank United. Her children are her driving force behind any time I devote to my community. I want to model what I believe is the way to create a strong community, country, and world, being involved. I feel very connected to the Oldsmar community and enjoy the people I associate with and service it. I'm a member of the Oldsmar Women's Club, another organization that is very supportive of Oldsmar Cares and its work, most recently donating $100 to our Thanksgiving Bounty program. I developed their website this summer and try to keep up to date on their activities. She graduated the 2012 Citizens Academy, and she started a classic book club in 2010 because I always wanted to read the books I had to read, but take the time to enjoy them. And it was about, what time tonight that we got this because she's so busy? busy. She said she was so busy she didn't have time to tell us anything. Mike, I think you should come up and elaborate on some of the things that she does.
She'll feel good now. She's not the only one on the spot. No, I just want to add my 2 cents. Susan just showed up at one of our meetings, and it was immediately obvious that she cared about what we did. She had ideas. She wanted to follow up on things. I couldn't really stop her. So, and she's just a great addition to our group. And so I'm very pleased that she's willing to take on this vice chair and become the new chair this summer. She's just a great asset to us and to this community.
Thanks, Mike. So it is with my pleasure, and it's what makes us a great city, that I give you the Council Manager Award for December 2012. Here you do a little song and dance. I don't know if they told you about that.
I clog.
Oh, I'm going to hold that against you.
Really, thank you.
Oh, come on,
have
Susan.
appreciated so much how Oldsmar has welcomed me into the community. And I feel like whatever I'm willing to give, Oldsmar is willing to let me give it. And there aren't a lot of places that's true. It seems like a lot of places, they have certain groups that do certain things. And if you come in new, you're kind of an outsider. And I've never felt like an outsider. And I really appreciate you all welcoming me in and making me have opportunities to do things that I think help the community and help, the greater good of the world in general.
Very good.
We love you, Susan.
Again, congratulations, Susan.
Yes.
All right, next up, we have the presentation by Bright House Network on Oldsmar History segment.
That would be me.
That's you?
I've never done this before. This is different for me. I'm Glenn Plouffe from the Average Angler Adventure Show on Bright House Sports Network. We're on at 6 p.m. every Monday through Friday. And we took on a project around August. I'm a Florida native. My grandfather was born in Ybor City. My great-grandfather born in Key West, and I was born in Tampa. And I had done a series on the show, a 5-episode series on Ybor City in 2008, and we got a lot of great response from it, and I got hooked on history, even though I'm a fisherman. That's what I do on the show, but I decided to combine history and fishing together, and I've been doing this for quite a few years now. And we came up with an idea to maybe revisit something like the Ybor City project, and I decided that why not do something on the whole of Tampa Bay for folks to get a picture of how Tampa Bay came about and all the different little pieces that come together to make Tampa Bay what it is. And we were going to do an intermittent series called Secrets of the Bay. And so we were going to do an episode here or there through the seasons, through the Average Angler seasons, until we had maybe 12, 15 of them, then maybe show all of them in consecutive order. So we started with Safety Harbor in August, but Safety Harbor stopped us because they had some remodeling to do in the museum. So what was next? It was Oldsmar. And I didn't know a lot about Oldsmar when we first attempted this project, but thanks to Jerry Beverlin, who gave us a lot of help, and we bugged him a lot, including today with some more time for footage, we got, I think, a pretty good picture of Oldsmar, and I hope that we represented her well. What we have tonight is a rough cut. It will be on December 20th. That's a Thursday night at 6 p.m. On Bright House Sports Network, 47 or 1147. And what we have tonight is 6 minutes, 6-7 minutes of footage. Is that okay to show the 7 minutes?
Absolutely.
And it starts off with your car, your old car, I believe, downstairs. And what we're doing with this is each episode will combine a kind of like a present into past sort of thing. So my concept here was each episode you'll find me somewhere in the past with a mix of the present. And this is your park. I forget what park it is. Forest. Cypress. Yes, and I was looking for an old road. That sign is fake. But it says Oldsmar, and we're trying to get like a link to the past.
Cute.
Hey there, stranger, you need a lift?
If you're heading to Oldsmar, I sure appreciate it.
Oh, you're looking to do some fishing, are you? If you are, you sure came to the right place.
Yeah, and maybe catch a little history along the way.
Well, we got plenty of that here. Come on board. Okay, you ready for a little jaunt in the past?
I sure am. Kick it in.
Got any secret fishing spots around here?
Sure do. I'll even show you one of them.
So here you come into the, this is basically the open, and it gives you an idea of what the series is going to be about.
The boundaries of Tampa Bay have barely been etched on the parchment of an ancient map. What if you could navigate the churning of progress in this wilderness dominated by the bay's rich,
So future
bountiful
episodes will include Port Tampa,
and the lives of the once great coastal
Safety
Indian
Harbor,
tribes, to the first
Whedon Island area, Davis Island,
of Cuban fishermen along Spanish Town,
Gibsonton, Ruskin.
But surely time has long since blurred, erased, and changed dramatically.
Grant Rice is back here. He's one of our producers, and we spent a lot of time on your town and looking through old photos and things, trying to get a feel for.
As we discover the secrets of the bay.
There are things that we find through the course of our research that probably a lot of people don't know. This is the regular open of the show, and then we'll come back into a little bit more on Oldsmar and an interview with Jerry.
The Average Angler on Bright House Sports Network.
Some of these shots were taken today.
Journey through Tampa Bay's storied past, I make a stop in the town that lends its beginnings to the iconic Oldsmobile, or at least its founder. Built on the waterline of Old Tampa Bay North, Oldsmar has weathered well the challenges of the past century and looks towards this next one with great optimism. To learn more about the town that Olds built, I visited former mayor and longtime resident Jerry Beverly. Meeting at his home, I was immediately immersed in an atmosphere of Jerry's love of the past, which includes much more than just recollections of Oldsmar history.
Jerry, this picture above us, don't tell me that was the mayor at one time.
I don't think Oldsmar's that old.
Now, when I first came in, you wanted me to go over and sit on a chair, and that chair has some history too. A pretty famous man sat in that chair, Abraham Lincoln himself. Where did you get those?
When Lincoln and Mary Lincoln went into the White House in 1860, she had these chairs specially made. There was 12 of them, and they were for her formal dining room. There was 2 armchairs and 10 side chairs. And when they left the White House, they took them. She took them with them. Actually, her and Robert Todd Lincoln, her son, took them with them. He had the chairs reupholstered in French silk. And then he donated them to a girls' school in Maine.
Well, let's talk about the fellow that without him, this whole area wouldn't be Oldsmar. It would be something else.
R.E. Olds, Ransom E. Olds. He's the one that came down here in 1913.
So through this interview, we still have more photos to place in.
We're starting to develop Tampa.
Yeah. Jason Kitwoods is our special effects person, and he has added some of this stuff in that you see the old photos.
Down to Florida, because at that time Florida new. There wasn't anything here. St. Petersburg had just started down by a Russian, by the way. That's why it's called St. Petersburg. And the Orange Belt Railroad had been built down to St. Petersburg, and it came right through this top of Old Tampa Bay. So Aureoles came down here and he saw this area here, and it was next to Tampa, which was pretty popular at the time. And he bought 35,600 acres, which was northwest Hillsborough County and all of northeast Pinellas County. And he said, I'm going to build a city or a town around the bay because we have the railroad here. And to him, that was, even at that time, he thought about possibly a shipyard here. But he didn't realize the bay was only about 7 or 8 foot deep.
Yeah.
He started building Oldsmar. He signed the papers in 1916. And then he started building the roads and everything. And
We've worked with a few different organizations like USF Digital Collections, Hillsborough Library, to acquire some of these pictures.
One hotel was built in 1918, and the big hotel, which was going to be 3 stories, actually he only got 1 story of it done because in 1920 the land bust kind of started here in town, and then we had the 1921 hurricane that devastated a lot of Tampa, and the boat docks over there, and actually covered Oldsmar up, and so that kind of did Oldsmar in. There wasn't a whole lot here.
Oldsmar may have struggled at that time, but there were still things to be proud of, like being designated capital of the citrus industry and protecting groves from freezes with improved smudge pots. Jerry dug deep to show me moments frozen in time, like Aureoles' 1,000-foot pier, and the casino that drew folks from all over the bay. So varied in content.
My first voiceover called that the $1 Million Pier until Grant corrected me. I don't know why I thought it was $1 Million Pier.
That nobody knows about. This is the railroad that come down around Old West Chase and Citrus Park.
Jerry's knowledge of this area's past was extensive, and the treasures he shared had me spellbound.
Holy mackerel.
This is an enlightenment for the University of Florida.
Wow, look at that.
That's a Spanish stirrup.
From the conquistadors.
From the conquistadors.
That is amazing. It almost looks new. Except for underneath, it's starting to break up. But what was the terrain? What was the circumstance this was found?
There's been a lot of digs. I think I showed you where they dug some dinosaur molars here in the city of Oldsmar. Well, Safety Harbor had a lot of, in the 50s and 60s, there was a lot of digs along the bay here, Safety Harbor and Oldsmar. And on one of the digs, this was dug up deep in the bay, at the edge of the bay.
Yeah.
And this
it's
is one of the
made of brass, so it didn't rust.
Made of brass.
So the Spaniards must have had real small feet.
After taking in Oldsmar's colorful past, I was itching to explore the nearby waterways.
We go to break and then come out to fish Mobley, the preserve, out in front of Mobley. And then we come back to go along, Jerry and I go along the shoreline up over to the wall of Aureoles' old wall. And we found an old panoramic photograph. I'm sure that you've seen it, Jerry, where it shows the wall from 1926. And that's where we end out the episode. Obviously, you give me some driving lessons in the old car, and then you send me on my way, and which will be Port Tampa next spring.
Let me tell you something. He drove it, and I begged for him to stop so I could get out of it. He was wild.
What happened was that, and who was the fellow that said, "Be careful driving that thing"? But I saw a snake crossing the path up there. I wanted to see what it was, so I floored it. But anyway, we got through it, and I certainly appreciate you guys' help in this episode, and especially bringing the vehicle out there for us to use at the beginning and end.
My grandson tonight saw the hat, and I didn't know this. I told him what we were doing. He didn't realize it was you. You're one of his heroes. I told you how he fished. Well, you got some of the bull sharks. He found out it was you today, and he was upset. He's now a freshman in college, but he loves your show. You gonna sign this for him?
Well, I certainly will. We do have some T-shirts and hats here for the folks if they want to pick up some.
I have a question.
Glenn,
May I ask him a question? Is it a possibility that the Historical Society could have a DVD of this?
Yes. The only issue, Bright House is exclusive. Bright House Sports Networks is exclusive, so we have to be very careful how you show it.
Oh, we won't.
But as far as having it for you and to show it, here or somewhere, it's just when it goes on TV, then they get a little. But obviously, if you guys want copies, DVDs, then I will definitely bring them to you.
Wonderful. Thank you. And how do I get a hold of you?
Bright House Sports Network, Jerry knows how to get a hold of them.
Okay, thank you very much.
And you said that it was going to air on the 20th, 12/20, right? Thursday?
Yes.
Channel
yes.
1147 or Channel 47?
Yes.
At what time?
At 6 p.m. And then it'll be on again Friday night as well.
That's great.
That was
Very
great.
high quality program.
Yeah.
What'd you say, at 6 p.m., Linda?
Yes, 6 p.m.
Looking forward to seeing the rest of it.
12/20,
Yeah.
December 20th.
Yeah, the part on the water line is my favorite. And yes, there are bull sharks right. I guess I shouldn't tell that to the conference.
Did you catch anything when you were fishing?
Yes, what I did was we went around. We were on the other side of the boot point, and there's that castle-looking abandoned white building. Do you guys know it? The house or well, that's where we got all the fish. There was plenty of redfish and snook
It's by
right
the
there.
old power plant.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
That was pretty cool because I was watching all the scouts and they were all watching that thing like, wow, that old man's got some talent.
And you acted pretty well in that. I shouldn't say I'm surprised, but.
Not as well as you do on the marriage practice ones.
All right, getting back to business. Item 6, we've got consider the reappointment of Bill Antozzi, Lisa Enman, and John O'Connor to the Leisure Services Board. Are they all here? Guys going to come up real quick? No John? No John?
You know, John?
At the next meeting?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
may I say something? They are both graduates of the Citizens Academy.
That's a shock.
And they have both been up here many times to get reappointed to this board. too.
I know.
So basically, you know the routine. We did this a number of years back. It's kind of fitting because we have former council member Seidel, whose idea I think this was to
mine.
bring the members in. Okay,
It was
yours.
mine.
Okay. Anyway, at one point in time, the council was just appointing people to the boards, and we didn't know who they were, so we wanted to be able to look you in the eye and ask any questions if we had any. Once again, we want to thank you for serving on this board. It's an important board in the city, and we greatly appreciate your contributions to the board. Does anybody have any questions up here?
Nope.
You guys have any questions for us?
I think I can speak for Lisa also in saying that it's a pleasure and a privilege to be on this Leisure Services Advisory Board, although I like to call it Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
Old school.
Go right ahead. You go right ahead. Parks and Rec, you got it.
Well, you guys on the board do an outstanding job, and so does that department in the city. Our parks are absolutely
Does a
gorgeous.
great
yeah.
job. Lynn Reeves is a great leader.
Thank you. I need a motion to reappoint them to the board.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, you're back on the board.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank
guys. Next up, we've got consider the appointment of John Ruckart to the Leisure Service Advisory Board, and we had a member come off of that today, and that board fills up quick all the time. That board. Hi, John.
Good evening, Mayor.
You and I go way back, so yeah, we just
Absolutely.
heard that same spiel again. We want to.
John goes way back to the city of Oldsmar.
Yeah, absolutely. And also a graduate of the Citizens Academy, which is how I learned about the board and why I wanted to be on the board.
Well, again, we want to applaud you for wanting to serve on that board. It is, like I said, an important board here. I don't know if you have any questions for us or anybody has any questions for you.
Just
Now I'm going to move
thanks.
this along. I need a motion to appoint John to the board.
Got it.
Have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, John.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Next up, we got my new hero, Johnny Ruckart, going to come and sit as a team member of the Leisure Services Board. Come on up, Johnny. You ready for this? All right, you got to sing us a song. No, I'm kidding. You have any questions for us, Johnny? Well, we want to thank you for wanting to serve on this board. I need a motion to appoint Johnny to the board.
So moved.
I have a second? Second. Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Congratulations, Johnny. You're the new member.
Thank you.
Next up, we've got consider the appointment of Eric Seidel as an alternate member of the Board of Adjustments. Obviously, I don't have to give you the same spiel. You're pretty familiar with why we did this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I was a little surprised that you wanted to sit on a board.
Well, you know what? I think all of our boards play a key role in our city, and I want to contribute my time and help out where I can.
And this is a very powerful board in the city because
That's
it's the
why he
only
wants
board.
to serve. He has all the power.
It's the only board that the city council can't override.
You can't override Beaverland?
No.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Right. But thank you for wanting to serve. It's good to see you again. I need a motion to appoint Eric to the board.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Got a motion second. All in favor?
Yes. Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Eric. You're back on.
Thank you very much.
All right, this is the part of the meeting where I say, all right, so much for the fun stuff. We're going to the city attorney.
Mr. Mayor, council members, item number 10, first reading and public hearing of ordinance 2012-11.
Mr. Mayor,
I apologize. We've got to stop a second. There is something that we've got to do, and I meant to say this at the beginning. We've got a representative, Mr. Lasher from PSTA.
Oh, yes.
Who is going to make a presentation under City of Oldsmar. Mr. Lasher, I apologize for that. I had it in my notes, but I don't have it in my iPad, so.
Thank you very much for the time. I wanted to come and thank you for helping us formulate some new services that we're going to be starting up this coming Monday. You've got some pamphlets in front of you. They're called our North County Connector Services. A while back, we got a state grant called a Service Development Grant to put these services together. We wanted to run them in North County, not only tie in other PSD routes in your community, but as well as Hillsborough Area Regional Transit, Pasco County Public Transportation, and other PSTA routes. We went out for months and months, and we had your help, help from the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber, and Mr. Custon and his group, his people, give us feedback on where they live, where they want to go, when would they want to go, where do they want to travel. Some of the top destinations, Boot Ranch, Countryside Mall, Woodlands Theater. And so we actually built these three routes around the input that we got from North Pinellas County residents. And I'll show you basically what we have done. We're staying within the grant. The service hours will be weekday, hourly, 7:30 to 6, Saturdays from 9 to 5:30. There wasn't a lot of call for Sunday service, and we really didn't have the budget, so we're not running on Sundays. Fare structure is going to be the same as every other PSTA bus. We want to make it nice and easy, except for the rest of this month, where it'll be free. Through the end of December, people can hop on these new connector routes and ride absolutely free and get around the county, and I sure hope they do. Also, the difference, and you'll see the three routes are laid out in front of you, and you have the maps there, and they'll be up on the screen shortly. You'll see the main route and then a kind of a grayed-in area around it. We're using smaller buses that can get into some of the walled communities. One of the reasons we've had problems providing transit in northern Pinellas County is because a lot of the communities are gated, they're walled, they're a distance off of the main thoroughfare, so people can't really walk to the thoroughfares. They sure as heck don't want diesel buses running through their neighborhoods, and some of them we can't negotiate the curves either. So we decided to run some smaller buses. You can actually call 3 days in advance to book a trip. And they can come to your door, pick you up within about 3/4 of a mile of the route, and they can drop you off as well. So if somebody were coming here and it was too long a walk from Hillsborough Avenue, they would book a drop-off right downstairs, and then we'd come back later and pick them up as well. That's part of the flexibility of the route. And that's done 2 per trip. And it's on a first-come, first-served basis, and we are flexible. If we go into a community like the Mainlands and we pick up a neighbor, we're not going to say, well, we're not going to pick up your neighbor because they're more than 3/4 of a mile out. We'll work with people and pick them up. Let me see if I can, the three services, which you have, each one has its own individual map, East Lake, Countryside, Oldsmar, Tampa, Dunedin, and Palm Harbor. This is the East Lake. It connects up at Tarpon Springs. It connects with several of our routes as well as Pasco County. Comes Keystone down East Lake and then Boot Ranch. Boot Ranch, it connects with another one of our routes as well as another one of the connectors. And that's the one that comes right through here. It's the Oldsmar Countryside Tampa connector. And that will go from Countryside Mall up to Boot Ranch where it connects with a few others. It also connects with our 62, our 67, and then down to Town and Country, where it pulls into and connects with the Hart routes up in the Northwest Transit Center for Hart and Town and Country. And then at Countryside Mall, it'll connect with the third of the new routes, the Dunedin connector. That'll go down Main Street, Dunedin, through some areas in Dunedin, Palm Harbor, and then pretty much does the turnaround at Walmart, though we'll make some runs up to SBC Tarpon as well. And we're really excited about these new services. We had much more feedback than we had anticipated, or I should say are used to. And we're looking now at what may be an overcapacity problem, which is a good thing when you're in transit. That way, when we go back to the state, show them, hey, we've got a lot of people wanting to ride it. They can have a good reason why to keep funding it. But I want to thank you for your help that you've given me in this and answer any questions if you have about these new services.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have one question. Is this the bus? The
Yes.
picture of the bus?
Yes, it's a smaller bus. It's similar if you've ever ridden the shuttle bus from the parking lot to the terminal, the airport. It's very similar to that. This is one of them. It will accommodate up to 2 wheelchairs or scooters at all times and then 14 seated passengers.
Will it accommodate
What
bikes?
about bikes? Yeah.
Bikes on the front, two standard bike racks on the front, 2 bikes.
So 2 bikes.
Yes,
Nice.
we wish it could be more because bikes on buses in Pinellas County leads the state by a long margin. We have a lot of
Really?
bikers riding buses, yep. That's another problem where we're having capacity issues. It's really kind of neat because before we used to have a permitting process. You had to actually get a permit, be trained, and at that point we were leading the state by 50% in our ridership with bikes on buses. We did away with that. Our bikes on buses participation went up about 300% within the next year.
Wow.
So we're way ahead of every other area in the state for bikes on buses. Yes, ma'am.
When is the next time that Oldsmar gets to serve on the board? Who's serving on it right now? Tarpon?
Safety Harbor.
No, Tarpon's our safety harbors.
Yeah.
Safety Harbor is?
And then it'll be us.
Okay, so that'll be up when?
2 more years.
They
2
just
more
started.
years?
I think so.
Yeah, they just
Oh, they
started.
just started. Okay, okay, thank you.
I'm glad you knew that because I wasn't exactly sure, but thank you.
I actually served on the board when
remember.
it was Oldsmar's time, and
I did too.
yeah, it was. We were right in the middle of this, and talking about other services and how you could do it to bring people closer to the routes. And I think it's great that you've done it. And I see the problems with the bikes. Everybody wants to, get over to the Pinellas Trail or out to the beach or things like that, and they're battling over the bike space on there. So that's a
It's
good
just
problem.
first come, first serve.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Or whoever can throw the other person's bike off first.
That hasn't happened yet, but we're hoping moving forward, if we can get our funding base changed, the one way to get around it is just more frequency. Right now, these are running once an hour. It'd be great if we can get up to half an hour, as well as some of the other routes around. Because the more the buses come, the more rack space is available.
It's a great idea, and I hope people use it.
I do too. The kids are welcome too. And they're discount passes for the kids, and we can go to their homes and pick them up so they don't have to wait out at a bus stop. Also uses our real-time bus information, which means you can actually use a cell phone, you can call in, you can text, use your computer, and you'll actually see how many minutes before the bus approaches your stop.
Is that on these commuters as well? Okay, because I saw how many real-time I saw the one by Countryside Mall. Are there others? I know they're not at every bus stop, but.
At the main transfer stations.
Okay.
So I don't know about, I think 8 to 10 right now, but most of the main transfer facilities, you will have those signs. We haven't even done a launch yet. We're still putting up some of those signs. We've been working on it for the past year. But for some of us who ride, it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And it lets you stay inside when it's hot or rainy outside instead of waiting at a bus stop.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a really neat thing when we finally do our hard launch.
My brother lives in Chicago, and he'll leave work and he'll go down and have grab a beer, and he can sit there and look at his thing, and he knows right when he needs to finish up and head outside. So it.
Interesting you say that because it's the same firm.
Oh,
Clever
okay,
Devices,
yeah.
the one that was the project they showed us was Chicago.
Yeah.
So
it worked great.
Yeah, what we have is the same, only it's updated. Ours is newer.
And ours is a cooler city.
That's right.
Anybody else? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, and again, I apologize to the city attorney, but now it's city attorney.
Mr. Mayor, council members, first reading and public hearing of Ordinance 2012-11, amending Article 4 of Chapter 70 of the Code of Ordinances, establishing a service availability charge for reclaimed water. I'll read Ordinance 2012-11 by title only. An ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending Article 4 of Chapter 70 of the Code of Ordinances to replace the term recovered with the word reclaimed, deleting Section 70-291, which required the adoption of a manual for recovered water policies and regulations, amending Section 70-295 of the Code of Ordinances, the City of Oldsmar to add an availability fee to the monthly service charges currently charged for reclaimed water service within the city, and providing for an effective date hereof. That was a reading of Ordinance 2012-11 by title only.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion for Ordinance 2012-11?
You have a motion for discussion. There's part of it down here that I want to talk about.
Well, it's a public hearing too, but I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. This is a public hearing. Does anybody from the public wish to address the council on this ordinance? Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I don't know, is it permissible for me to talk about the
No,
part?
the public.
Yeah, I know that, but I want to establish this if I can. City Attorney, can I establish something down here?
Well, the way you normally do it would be to have the public
Public
address
hearing
it first, and then you would have your comments based upon what the
Okay,
public would do.
That's fine.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to ask, if we have a lot of people, I'm going to ask you to keep your comments to 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Herbert Lamorter, 105 West Buckingham. I'm a long-time resident. I didn't ask for the reclaimed water on my property. Was it a vote by the general public for it? Were they told there was going to be a no hookup fee? Today it's only $5.60. What will it be tomorrow, the next time? Sure, I live on a small, but basically $5 a day is what I eat on. Who cares, right? Well, the no hookup fee for existing residents is like an impact fee for existing car tags. You put a no hookup fee for new construction homes is fair, but not for the existing homes. What gives you the right to charge for that luxury that I didn't ask for? The reclaimed water is not a necessity like the water. While we have the luxury of reclaimed access, our city was without water for 3 days because of old underground piping. You put the money into the reclaimed system, but obviously not into the underground old piping, which the city has been paid. I don't know if you're still getting all that money from the government because you slum and blighted my neighborhood. And it was supposed to be for the underground utilities, and now you put in reclaimed water and telling me I have to pay you because I don't want to hook up for it. That's not right. Sure, it's only $5, but it's the principle. Plus, it is a lot of money when you're on retirement. And if you do this, you should be, if you're not already, you should be put on Santa's naughty list.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else want to address the council? Yes, sir.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Carl LaFrance. I've been a property owner in Oldsmar, my wife and I, for 10 years. Residents of Oldsmar for the past 3 years. We love it here. We live at 342 Canal Way, Gullair. The reclaimed water line goes directly behind my property. I think if you go out and check, there's several homes on Canal Way that do not subscribe to the reclaimed water. I have seriously considered hooking up for the last 5 years, but I found in my situation, it just won't work. To use reclaimed water solely for irrigation, I can't wash my car with it. It leaves a film on it. They tell me to use the regular water if I have to, if I'm going to use the reclaimed water to rinse it off. So I'm kind of offended that the city would consider, you call it a user's fee or non-user's fee. It's a tax for not utilizing the reclaimed water. And I think if you take and go up and down Canal Way where I live, you're going to find that the majority of the homes do not subscribe to the reclaimed water.
Are you in phase 1 or 2?
Pardon?
Are you in phase 1 or phase 2?
I don't know what phase I'm in, sir. I'm at the beginning of
You're right at the corner?
Canal, right at the corner, yes.
Well, I wanna
There are several double wides there, so I am assuming it's phase 1.
Well, that's part of what I'm going to talk
Phase
about.
2 is where you have the stucco homes, and apparently that's why the reclaimed water was put in, because they demanded it. Well, if they demanded it, why not charge them for that?
We're going to talk about phase 1.
Yeah, let's just let the residents make their comments, though. Good. No, I'm telling him, I just want you to make your comment.
If you want to reclaim water, charge those people for it. Don't charge people that don't want the water service. Don't penalize them. This is America. I want to be able to choose what I want to be able to use and what I don't want to use. $5 a month is not going to break me. So therefore, I'm against it. And I think if you did a survey of lower Canal Way, you'd find that they're probably all the same. They don't hook up for various reasons, and it just doesn't meet their needs. Why penalize them? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. LaFrance. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mayor, my name is Beverly Toombs. My husband and I have lived in the same residence in Oldsmar for 40 years. We use 2 people in the house. We use between 3,000 and 5,000 gallons a month.
Did you say your address, ma'am?
We don't have a dishwasher, but we do manage to take a shower on that small amount of water. There's no way we could use an additional 8,000 gallons to put on the ground when we don't require it for our personal use. So this new fee I don't object to the fee. I object to, it just seems a waste. People that don't need it just do not need it. Thank you.
Can I ask you, ma'am? I need your address. Address for the record.
421 Shore Drive East.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Yes.
My name is Elizabeth Etchison. I live at 211 Fairfield Street, Oldsmar, Florida, for 31 years. My husband and I are retired Scout leaders, Little League coaches. We've been active in this town for 31 years. We supported this town. Now we are in our retirement. We're on a fixed income, and I do not think it is right to charge people for something that they don't want. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Caroline Cerveny, your first graduate of the Academy. Hi, Janice. And I am not in favor of service. I think many people have indicated already why a service fee should not be there. I am retired. Even today, I worked with Verizon to cut my phone bill down. We are in a period of time today where expenses are higher than they've ever been, and income is not always there. And so I think those of us who choose not to use reclaimed water, I had the option, I chose not to. And I have many reasons for not to, not just the finances. When I walk my neighborhood, I can tell everybody who uses reclaimed water, because the sidewalks and that are now covered with a lot of gunk that should not be there. We have many people in Galair, or actually Galair, I think is an indication of the community here where it's inequitable. Part of that community has access and part of it does not. So those of us who happen to have it, even though we didn't ask for it, now we're being asked to be assessed a fee for something we don't want. I think that's totally unfair.
Okay, thank you.
Can we have your
Address?
Oh, Carolyn, can I get you to get your address real quick, please?
557 Dove Terrace.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Lisa Bradley. I'm 211 Jefferson. My parents first bought a house in Oldsmar in '87. I was 7 years old when we moved here from Rhode Island. I live paycheck to paycheck. I took over the house from my parents. I can't afford a $5.60 fee. I mean, I think a lot of people can't right now. My grass is green year round. I've never watered it. They've never watered it. Why should we start now? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Brian Runchling. I live at 1101 Thornwood Drive, Oldsmar, Florida. Neighbor Mrs. Horvath over there. A lot of good point of views about it. Of course, I saw that in the flyer today that came in the mail, and I thought to myself, it's a fee for you're charging me not to use something. And my viewpoint is simple, maybe a little bit different. I've looked at getting reclaimed water at my house, and of course, coming down to it's $280 to hook up to it. You know, I don't have to use city water. I use a well, which was there when I purchased my house over 12 years ago. And I've looked at getting on city water because, you know, it's relatively inexpensive for someone that really wants to water their yard and keep their house up nice and their yard nice. But I don't exactly understand what the reason is that you're wanting to charge people this amount of money every month to not use it. Maybe it is to drum up business to get people to hook up to the reclaimed water. I'm not sure what the point of view is that for trying to charge this amount. Of course, as people have said, that we've had hard times in the community. Economy's not been very well. And simple fact is that most people can't afford that or don't want to pay for something that they don't want or can't use. And of course, my thing to you is to ask questions, well, what about doing away with the $280 sign-up fee and getting more people to actually want to use it? I mean, charge people for the ones that want to use it. Raise the rate. I mean, $15 a month for people that want to water their yards. If you know what it costs to water your yard with city water, it's very expensive. So in that standpoint, it would be relatively good for people to sign up for it. But, you know, when I want to sign up for it, $280, you know, that's money that we could use to buy presents for the family for Christmas or, you know, birthday presents or whatever. There's always somewhere else that you can use $280. And that's not including what it costs to run the piping to hook up to it from the person's house. So there's some extra fees there that it costs to hook up to reclaimed water. I'd be willing to pay $15, I'd be willing to pay $18 a month as one that wants to get reclaimed water. Why not charge the people a little more monthly and the city do away with the hookup fee so that people can afford to hook up to it so that you guys can generate the revenue that you need. For some reason, this charge for people that are not want to use it, there's obviously a need for the money. I don't know if it's because we have a lot of houses sitting around in our communities that are vacant because people have, you know, gone bankrupt and houses have been foreclosed on. I know that we're losing a lot of tax dollars. Don't penalize all the people that pay their taxes every day or every month. You know, we don't mind paying extra for things that we need to make our house look nice or whatever, and I'm willing to pay for reclaimed water. But the hookup fees and the charges and the cost to actually hook up to it is just ridiculous, just a different standpoint. Okay? Thank you
very much. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am, in the back.
I'm Christy Fluck, 202 Buckingham. I'm in agreement with a lot of these people. The $5 and something a month is substantial to me. I'm a widow. I struggle trying to keep my house and things going. They tore up our yard putting the system in, and they didn't leave it in very good shape, and that's after I called and had them come out and work on it again. It's, you know, they left a mess to begin with. I didn't appreciate it then. I also think more people probably would be here. I know a lot of people who would throw an envelope like this in the garbage. It says Oldsmar resident, no return address. I found that was kind of interesting because a lot of people probably never open this mail. And I just, I don't know, it's a substantial amount of money to me at this point. And I don't want it. I have no need for it. I have a very small yard if I was going to. There's no point in paying that money to have it. the fee for not using it is almost as much as the monthly fee for people who do use it. So if there was going to be a fee, I think it should be substantially smaller. If you're going to consider it at all, I don't understand paying 3/4 of the same amount for people who do use it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Where does she live?
Buckingham. Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Michael Hutchison, 302 Congress Street. I've been an Oldsmar resident since I was 2 years old, 31 years. Again, I'm in a disagreement over this fee. It's not a service I've asked for, or I don't believe I'll ever use. My grass is green all year long. That's just all I have to say.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else? Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I didn't see you over there. I apologize.
Good evening. Mayor, manager, council members, and the city clerk. I'm Betty Hayes. I live at 422 Shore Drive East in Oldsmar. Been here for a long time. I have not, however, read Article 4 of Chapter 70 of the Code of Ordinances, but I am here to speak about establishing, what is it you call it, a service of availability. I got hung up on that when I read the nice letter that I got from the city, because I don't like to be forced. I mean, I don't think anybody likes to be forced into something that hadn't even occurred to them that they might need. And now we have an offer for availability. That could mean something, it could mean nothing. And it certainly isn't anything that we are hankering for. So I ask you to think of these three simple ways of looking at it. It does have an aura of being imposed, of being mandatory. I don't know what the ordinance says, nor do I know what the modification of it is intended to be. But it's not a good thing to be forced in a city that has been so careful and successful at growing in the way that you felt was advisable. The letter seemed to indicate that it would be an expense imposed variously according to what you choose as a homeowner. That can be a little more than stressful. Excuse me. Could be a little more than stressful. What about, I haven't heard anything about encouraging people to investigate as they're escaping, educate them a little bit about the way they can use the water that they have now and available to them. I don't have anything else really to say, but I do ask you to consider a little bit beyond just the wordage and see what effect it's going to have variously throughout the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here and your comments. Thank you. Anyone else would like to address council? Yes, sir.
I'm Pete Bradley. I own the property at 211 Jefferson Ave. Question I have is, you charge for water, you charge more for the sewage. Now, the sewage is actually the reclaimed water, and you're going to be charging for the reclaimed water now? Isn't that where the sewage goes?
That's fairly accurate. I mean,
so
sewage,
why are you charging for sewage
reclaimed
and
water after it's
reclaimed water
treated.
when it goes to the same place?
Well, there's a cost to turn sewage into reclaimed water, as you probably understand, and there's a cost to deliver it to the customer.
Okay. Since you're already charging us for delivering the water to us, now you're charging us to take it back, and then you're charging us to buy it again. The other thing is, when they put the lines in, you were asked if you want to hook up, you will be able to. Not if you don't hook up, you're going to get charged. That's why I don't see any point in it, because I'm against it. And the grass has always been green over there. Never really had to water it. I'll just say my piece.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anyone else? I don't see anyone else. Is there anyone else? All right, I'm going to close the public part of the forum. You wanted to have some comments,
Yes,
Mr. Vice Mayor?
Yeah. As it stands right now, I'm going to support this, but not at the rate that's in the ordinance itself. Other than the $5 and whatever it is, I would, the same as we did the stormwater fees back in the early 1990s. I mean, everybody benefits, everybody here pays for a stormwater fee. Now, you may say, why am I paying for a stormwater fee when it doesn't affect my particular street? Well, in the long run, it affects everybody because everything flows through 3 water basins and goes out to the bay. And so what we've spent that money for is to maintain and to grow the system. But we started out at a more reasonable price, and the $5.57, I will not support that. I think it should be closer to $3 and something, $3.25, maybe $3.25 or something like that. Now that I would support.
The $5.60 isn't something we just picked up from the sky. That was what the study showed that we needed to do. This is an enterprise fund.
Right.
So you can't undercharge it. You've got to be able to break even.
Well, no, well, if you look at it that way, we're not breaking even now because we're not charging it.
But people.
So anyway, I would support at a lower cost. And also on Guller Village Phase 1, I don't know how we could ask anybody in Phase 1 to hook up to the reclaimed water system. In Phase 1, that's something that I would totally be against. Go ahead.
Well, the proposed fee would apply to customers that have reclaimed water service available to them currently, meaning the line's already in the street and service is available for them right now. And in Gullair Village, Phase 1, that only applies to Canal Way. The line was put in, it runs from Curlew Road. Basically, I think the gentleman spoke, it's actually to the rear or behind the houses. And
that was
that's
Phase
how
2.
the service got to Phase 2.
Yeah,
So
that was Phase 2.
Yeah.
And Phase 2 has lawns, and Phase 1 doesn't have lawns at all.
Yeah.
So it's not really whether it's Phase 1 or Phase 2, it's the fact the line is there to serve them.
But anyway, that's what that was my comments, Mayor.
Okay, yes.
Oh, thank you. Well, I have a lot of things to think about here. First of all, we have our own water system now, and we really don't subscribe to everybody using that water to do their lawns. I mean, that's a waste of water. It costs us to make reclaimed water, and actually everybody in the city, even if you're not hooked up to it, you're still being charged for the infrastructure. And but I'm just wondering, and I haven't asked Bruce this, is there, okay, when we charge the $280, is that to hook them up? I mean, is that to run the pipes and do all the work? I mean, can that be reduced, like this one gentleman said? Can that be reduced drastically? And then, you know.
The $280 connection fee basically pays for the meter box, and the labor to install it. There is an option for people who wish to connect. If they wanted to pay that over a up to 24-month period, we could just put that on the bill, and so they don't have to pay the $280 all at once.
Well, when I hooked up to it, it was $250, and I paid, I think, an extra $50 a month until it was paid. So, do we really have to charge $280? Isn't there a way we could charge way less?
Well, that
and
means
still get
someone
the
else
job
is
done?
subsidizing the cost of that meter box,
yes.
and labor.
Yes.
And
And I don't know
I
that
know
that-
where you're coming from, and I agree with you, but everybody in the city doesn't know how the city runs and how we get these services and who pays for it, and it's hard to explain to them in one meeting why they should either hook up to it, which I would advise everybody to hook up to it if they possibly can, because it's environmentally friendly, and I just think it's got to be cheaper. It's got to be cheaper for them to do it. They have to have an incentive to do it.
No. Nobody from the public. It's only up here.
Well, actually, our discussion tonight is on this ordinance and not on the hookup part of it.
Correct.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
That's for another agenda item if you want.
well, but they already, okay then. Yeah. Then let's do that then, because he's already said that we have to charge that much.
People might not be aware of this, but if you are hooked up and you don't use the reclaimed water, I own a commercial building here in the city of Oldsmar, and I never turn on the reclaimed water, but I pay $7.60 a month not to use the water. It's just
I don't use
the
it all the
way
time
the
either.
enterprise fund works.
Yeah.
Other cities do the same exact thing. It's just a necessary evil. I know it's a bitter pill for some people to swallow, and I know $5 a month can be a lot for some people.
Yes.
This council works very hard to try to minimize these costs the most that we possibly could and make that $280 as affordable as possible. What 24 months, what is it, $20 a month is what we're, that's-
$11.67 a month. If you take the whole 24 months, if someone chose they want to do it in 12 months, we'll do it that way.
Right. So we're trying to be as fair as we possibly can, but we've also invested millions of dollars in piping this stuff. So everybody's got to be on board. You just can't exclude somebody. It doesn't work that way. It's the same with you getting your sewer taken care of and your drinking water and your garbage. And, it just.
And not only that, we only have so many, 1.5 million gallons of our own water, and that we really don't want them using it on the lawn.
Right.
We'd rather they were drinking it and cooking with it and bathing with it.
But I guess my point is, I'm paying the $7.60 a month not to use the water, and I'm the mayor, so wouldn't you think I would try to figure out a way not to pay that bill?
Yeah,
It's just no way. We haven't been able to figure it out in years. We paid for studies from companies that specialize in this, and this is what they're saying is the fairest and most economically friendly way for us to do this.
And
I've been doing that for years also, Mayor. It's the same thing. I've been paying some.
Yes.
I just now got a little sprinkler system, but I've been paying.
You did? See, I don't even have a sprinkler
But I've been
system.
paying the $7 for years.
I'd like to.
And we have to do it, we have to hand water it.
I'd like to make a few comments. I can certainly understand people with the economy the way that it is, but I can also, when it's a bitter pill for me to swallow as well, even though I like my reclaimed water. I compare it in my life to paying a school tax, and I have no children, but it's part of what I have to do, and that's a whole heck of a lot more. I have stepkids, but they don't live with me. It's a whole heck of a lot more than $5 a month. If you look at other towns in Pinellas County, we're not the only town asking to do this. We're not even the town that's asking the most money. There's a spreadsheet, and we have a spreadsheet here, and there's 8 other towns in Pinellas County, and the fees range anywhere from, they go all the way up to $15 a month.
16.
Right. Service availability charge in Clearwater is $11.18. So I'm not saying that the $5 and something cents is not a lot of money. I'm just saying it's not the worst that it could be. And the hardest part of being up here on this council is trying to explain things like this and trying to be stewards of this money and trying to keep the city in the black. It's not an easy thing to do, especially in a recession. I think maybe, I don't know if this is possible, but if Mayor or Bruce, is there any way that people could apply for hardship for people that say they're widows, or $5 a month if they can't afford it, if there's some way that can happen, if we could make some exception for some people, or is that not a good idea? I don't know.
Well, I think realistically, a system like that would cost more to administer than the benefit that would be received.
in order to find out if we could do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'd have to set up some kind of system to evaluate people's income. We don't have any way or the staff to do that.
Right.
And
Or possibly giving people that can show some kind of hardship a longer payment plan to make it less than $12 a month. I don't know. I just don't, the thing that I don't like is the cost. But then again, none of us up here like the cost. But I do understand that it's a necessary evil.
Well, also, one thing that the council had talked about in the past that is not part of this proposal this evening is making connections mandatory. And in that case, you know, you would be requiring people to connect and pay the connection fee of $280, and then they'd have a monthly minimum charge of $7.60. The council decided, and I certainly agree, that that really wasn't the program that you wanted to put forward. So in this case, while if you do establish this service availability fee, it's $5.60 a month as proposed. Mr. Beaverland's recommended a lower number, but still, no one is required to connect. It's not mandatory. No one is going to have to pay that $280. If this is adopted, they'd have to pay the $560 a month.
Okay. A couple more things I just wanted to point out, and I don't know what point, if Lisa could come up and say something. The water, I have heard, is cleaner than, I don't have a problem with it. And anything that happens on the sidewalk isn't things from the water. It's not debris and solids in the water, because the water's pretty clean.
Right, you can
It's
almost
the
drink it.
algae that is created because you're watering your lawn more, your sidewalk is wet longer, I think. Lisa could, yes, Lisa's shaking her head. So it's not that the water is not clean. It's cleaner than.
You can almost drink it.
Almost, right.
I wouldn't go that far.
Almost.
Well, actually, you can. You can drink
drink
it. I
it.
won't. But you can actually drink it. That's how.
It won't kill you.
But on a side note, and people might not know this, it's a little off topic, but we are pumping 100% of our own drinking water now. So we've gotten to that point. I think that's something we can all be very proud of.
Right, which actually is a point in the favor of the city, because we have our own water now, our water rates are not going to go up. Like, we're not at the mercy of Pinellas County Water anymore. Now, Pinellas County Water just lost a lawsuit, and they're going to
No, Tampa Bay Water.
Tampa Bay Water just lost a lawsuit based on their reservoir problem, and they're going to pass that along to all Pinellas County Water
Ratepayers.
clients. We are not that anymore. We have our own. So that's an increase that we're not even going to see because of the project, the reverse osmosis water plant. So you kind of got to look at the whole picture instead of just the one fee.
And that cost was $55 million, the loss of the lawsuit.
No, actually, it was 24.
The loss of the lawsuit and what they're going to pass on to Pinellas County Water customers, Tampa Bay Water
And
customers.
they're going to ask for more.
They're paying for the other person, the construction company's legal fees.
I think that lawsuit was 125 million or 140 million.
Well, yeah.
That was a lawsuit, yeah.
That's
The lawsuit, yeah, but the legal fees were 24 million.
Okay. A couple of things. I first want to thank everybody for coming out and speaking. This is what it's all about. It's for you to voice your opinion. It was actually kind of interesting to see. I think we were all kind of writing the addresses. I didn't know where the biggest, problem was going to be, but it looks like it's, kind of scattered throughout. My thought on the $280 fee, as Brewster described, is that that is the cost. I don't think that other taxpayers should have to burden the cost of that by reducing a fee to somebody else. It's not fair to the guy last week that had to pay $280, or the guy last month that had to pay $280, or last year that had to pay $280. If that's the cost of putting it in, that's the cost of putting it in. My thoughts on the mandatory connect, as the mayor described it, it is an enterprise fund, and several of the things that we have done over the past that you don't see is to try and evaluate these things, because they weren't self-sustaining. One department was paying more and subsidizing the other one, and so we really kind of went through and really evaluated all the different departments to make sure that they were self-sustaining, and that's why we went through this whole rate study and the stormwater study and the various things that we've done to try and make sure that these items were self-sustaining, and you weren't robbing Peter to pay Paul. Reclaimed water is something that a lot of places are going. As Councilmember Norris said, they're 9 total reclaimed communities, 8 of which charge, I would say, no less than us. I think $5 you had said, I think, 5.8, we're 5.60, and I think there's a $5, a $5 one, but all the way up.
All the way up to
And as Bruce indicated too, we had discussed a mandatory connection, which we did not think, as I think a couple of people said, is you're forcing us to do something that we don't want. So we didn't really want to do the mandatory connection. We didn't think that that was right. We also didn't know that by doing the mandatory connection, if we would have at this point, until we get our deep water aquifer storage, that we would have enough water to provide everybody in all the times that it's needed. So the council is very conscious of the needs of the people and their hardships and not forcing something on somebody. But again, like everything that we do, and I can't remember who mentioned it, you mentioned the school tax. We all pay road taxes for roads that we may not drive on. We pay for other things that we may not do, but reclaimed in a service, the city is here to provide services to our community, and that is water and sewer, reclaimed water, keep our roads and ditches clean and things like that. And, we all pay for various things that we may not get a benefit of. And this is one of those things that the city long ago decided to venture into, which was reclaimed water. I do understand your concern about the being asked to charge, because I can tell you that if in front of my house I have Bright House Cable, Verizon Cable, and Knology, and I would not want them to charge me a mandatory fee for that. But that's a little bit different. This is actually a service and a good service that the city provides. It's a way for us to dispose of our reclaimed water that keeps rates down, because if we didn't dispose of this reclaimed water, there would be a lot. If we didn't have reclaimed water at all, it's a whole nother ramification, because we have to dispose of that water somehow.
Exactly.
And there would be a cost associated with this. So this is a way to be able to not step into that arena by reusing our own water. And I understand the gentleman's point, but there is about paying us to buy the water and to take it back and then to reuse it again. But as the city manager mentioned, that is just kind of the cost of the process that we have to do. That cost would be there whether we send it to your yard or not. We would have to send it somewhere. So,
exactly.
At any rate, those are kind of my thoughts on the two different things. I don't know where I stand on Vice Mayor Beaverland's concern about the 560. When you look at all the other rates, we appear to be, if not the cheapest.
We are the cheapest.
The cheapest connection rate.
By far.
And and I mean, I say that, and I don't want you to think that certainly I came in here with any preconceived notion of where this stands, but overall, I mean, you don't sit in a lot of the workshops that we sit in, but overall, the City of Oldsmar, when we compare the rates that we charge for the various things that we charge, almost every time we are the cheapest in our access fees or our usage fees or our cost per gallon fees or anything else. When we sit in these workshops, and the city staff that we have provides us great numbers, because they know what we're going to ask. What are we paying compared to everybody else? Where do we stand with everybody else? And we are, almost every time the cheapest when we do something. It's not something that we like to do, but we also don't want to, jack up the fees so much when something goes wrong and we have to replace all of this system. So that's a little long, but I wanted to kind of, we don't just make decisions willy-nilly. This is a long process, and it's been going on for years before I ever got in here. And I mean, I think it's the cost of the infrastructure that we have.
Yes. And our millage rate is like...
Our millage rate hasn't gone up in how many years? Thank you, Mayor?
20-something years, but we lowered it 2 or 3 out of the last...
No, we've lowered it 5 times.
5 times.
5 times.
I'm talking about in the last 4. During the worst economy, we lowered it twice.
Right.
And so our millage rates, even through the tough times, and somebody mentioned the economy, I sell real estate, and the good part is we're starting to see things start to turn around. And as you said, 20 years of a millage rate going up, not going up, and I would challenge you to go around the rest of Pinellas County or the state and communities similar to ours or bigger and see those municipalities that have been able to maintain or reduce millage rates. And I think it's because of the great city staff that we have and the conscious effort that we put forward towards using your tax dollars to make this city a better city. And this is just one of the things that does make us a great city.
Exactly.
And I do have hardship for the gentleman that said that, he lives on $5 a day. And we all sit up here and struggle with that on not just this, but on everything that comes before us. It's, we're reaching into people's pockets, and it is frustrating. So we do appreciate that.
Absolutely. Anybody else? All right, was your motion was just to, with the ordinance as it is?
Yeah.
You're good with that? Okay. And then I had a second from Josh?
No.
Me.
From you?
Yeah.
Okay.
For discussion. And this is just our first reading, right, Tom?
That's correct. Yes, first reading. There is another reading that we'll do, is that in January, or would that be the next meeting?
December 18th.
December 18th. So there's a second reading on December 18th. I've got the motion a second. We've heard from the public. Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Beaverland?
Yes.
Councilmember Miller?
Aye.
Councilmember Beavis?
Aye.
Councilmember Norris?
Aye.
Mayor Ronacher?
Aye.
First reading of ordinance 2012-11, amending Article 4 of Chapter 70 of the Code of Ordinances, establishing a service availability charge for reclaimed water is passed with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything else for the attorney?
That's all I have.
All right, thank you. City Manager.
Mayor and council, the next item is to consider approval of a cooperative funding agreement with the Southwest Florida Water Management District for the Reclaimed Water Aquifer Storage and Recovery Project Phase 3.
Oh, boy.
This project is in the current year budget over $1 million, and we have received a grant from the Water Management District for 50% of the cost. That's $511,172 is the amount of the grant. This project will take the existing exploratory well and turn it into a test well so it can be placed in operation. Not completely approved. Eventually, you'll have to have an operating permit. But as the council's aware, the project's been underway for quite a long time, and we're now in phase 3. It also includes pumps for the well and the construction of 2 monitoring wells. If you have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to respond to those. I recommend approval of the agreement with the Southwest Florida Water Management District for cooperative funding in the amount of $511,172.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the switch mode cooperative funding.
Second.
Got the motion second. Any other discussion?
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
that
Oh, it's
they're-
excellent, great. And
they're
it's actually,
paying half of
it really has nothing to do with the item we just talked about. It just
No,
happened to
no,
happen
no,
on the same
no,
day.
no.
And this has been in the works for 6 or 7 years
Right,
now.
right, right.
We got the motion a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 12, consider approval of work order with Jones Edmunds Associates for engineering services for Reclaimed Water ASR Project Phase 3. As this is related to the previous item, which you just approved of the grant agreement, this is to provide services during the bidding and construction phases of the project. The amount of this work order is $115,206. I recommend approval of the work order with Jones Edmunds Associates.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the work order with Jones Edmunds Associates?
So moved.
A second. Second. Got a motion second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor and council, the next item is consider approval of a loan to the Community Redevelopment Agency for the purchase of the Goodrich property. The council has previously approved a contract to purchase the Goodrich property, 129 Fairfield. We have not yet closed on that property. The closing is scheduled for next week, December 12th. When that contract was discussed, I proposed to council that the financing for the acquisition, that the purchase price is $1,450,000. The CRA is going to budget approximately $500,000. There will be some closing costs related to the transaction. And the balance of $1 million would be funded as a loan from the general fund to the CRA. There will be no interest on the loan, and the CRA will repay the general fund $250,000 a year for 4 years. The first payment would be April 1, 2014. So that is the item before for your consideration this evening.
I think this is a good way to buy that property, and I'm glad to see us moving forward.
I think it's brilliant.
I was
Acquisition.
going to say, Mr. Mayor, this is another way, just to back up Councilman Beavis's good dialogue a few minutes ago. This is another way that we're making and saving money for the city of Oldsmar.
Absolutely.
Okay, I need the motion to approve the
You
loan
got
to the
it.
CRA.
Yeah.
Second, got a motion second, all in favor?
Yes.
Aye, opposed, motion carries 5-0.
And what was it, wasn't it originally, they were asking?
4 million?
4 million or something?
4.3, I think it was.
So,
Anything else, sir?
Great
All for
asset.
tonight, thank you.
Great
very
asset
much.
for the city.
Oh,
Incredible.
yeah.
City Clerk.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, actually, the qualifying period ended this past Friday at 4:30, and I'd like to share the results with everybody. For council member seat 2, Janice Miller is qualified unopposed. For council member seat 3, Gabby McGee qualified, Dan Saraki qualified, Suda Yantis Cologne qualified, and so we will have a March 12, 2013 election. Council member seat 4, Linda Norris qualified unopposed, and for the mayor seat, Doug Beavis qualified unopposed. We'll have a resolution that'll be brought up at our next meeting with the final ballot language. And just a few dates to keep in mind, January 10th will be the candidates forum right here in council chamber at 7 o'clock. And then later on, it'll also air on Oldsmar TV and on the website. February 11th is the last day to register to vote for the municipal election. And of course, March 12th is the election day.
Okay, I want to congratulate Councilmember Miller, Councilmember Norris, and Mayor-elect Beavis, and also our 3 candidates. Please pay attention to what they're doing and make sure you go out and vote because it's important. But congratulations to the
Thank
3 of
you.
you. Very exciting.
Thank you. This
Nice
is
to see,
this
you
is a
guys all getting
first
on
for
a
me.
It's the only way to run.
Oh, I'll tell you. Wow.
All right, next up is City Council. We've got to consider the city clerk's annual compensation. Don't make faces. Every year we do this, and the council members rate the clerk and the city manager. And I know from my standpoint, my perspective, and I think I probably share it with everybody, I think both of them do an outstanding job and
Absolutely.
are very deserving of the raises. We've given all the other employees a raise this year, so there's no reason why we don't go forward with you, and I had nothing bad to say.
are we doing rock, paper, scissors?
No?
No, they're great. We got a great city staff.
Do you need a motion on that?
Yeah, I do.
You got it.
You know, we just do both at the same time? Can we do city manager and clerk together, or they gotta be separate?
They're separate
Usually you do them
agendas.
They're
separate.
separate? Okay, so give me a motion to consider the clerk's annual compensation to go ahead and pass that.
Second.
I have the motion second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations and great job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And as far as the manager's compensation, I've said this many times, City of Oldsmar is fortunate to have Bruce as the city manager here, and he does a phenomenal job. There's no question about it. And I would take a motion to support him as well.
So moved.
We've got the motion in a second. Now, Bruce is in a different standpoint because he's kind of maxed out at his pay level, so he doesn't get quite that big of a raise. But he does get a little something, but I got the motion in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations, Mr. Haddock, and to you, a good job, sir.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, both of y'all. In fact, we have 3 of the most incredible
Manager, 2 city clerks.
Deputy clerk,
city
attorney?
The city attorney.
Charter officials.
Charter officials, thank you.
There you go.
We have 3 charter officials that every other city would desire to have, but they can't, because we have them.
I agree. Let's do comments by council members, and we'll continue with you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I got, first of all, Lisa, and I know all the council feels the same way, because I've seen a couple of emails. You and the staff, that little guy behind you back there. Yeah, you. And the bigger guy next to you over here.
It's my little
And
guy.
Bruce, and all, the water system has been incredible. It has run very smoothly. You have made the council look good. The service to the citizens of this city when they drink the water, y'all are going to be very impressed. You don't have to buy bottled water anymore. You don't have to use your soft water, salt that I use. Thank you for everything y'all have done. Thank you, all of the staff and the city manager. It has been an incredible journey, Mayor.
Yes.
From the beginning to the end.
It took us a while to get there too, didn't it?
Many fights. We've been voted against many times, and the tenacity of the city staff and the mayor, and when I was mayor and the council, our tenacity has won, because we never gave up the vision that we had. This is, this lady talked to me today about, this is a private lake over in Forest Lakes, and somebody's trying to and catch alligators out of the lake. Now, Rick, our code enforcement, what can we do about somebody trying to fish for alligators?
Fish and Wild?
Well, I think it would be reported to the Game and Fish Commission.
Yeah.
It's not a violation of
Is
the
that
city
what we
code.
do?
You're probably not gonna get them in time by calling us up.
Sheriff's office, yeah.
Against the law of the last year.
Okay, and SO told her they couldn't do anything about it. I will give you her number, and then would you call her? Mayor, could I have Haskins?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna give you her number. And I kind of hesitate in saying this, but we had a lot of great citizens here tonight, and I think we need to do a little better job on our floors downstairs, mopping them.
I have already told Bruce that they're not using clean water. They're using the dirty water, so you can see it right in front of the historical.
And other than that,
Museum.
we're going to be meeting before Christmas, so I won't tell you Merry Christmas, but just thank you all who you are.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilmember Miller.
Well, I do have a couple of things. I went to the Suncoast League. I gave you all some handouts. I went to the Suncoast League on Saturday, and Representative Ed Hooper was the speaker. What a terrific guy he is. I mean, he opened himself up and told us everything that was going on in Tallahassee, what he didn't agree with, which is the same thing the rest of us don't agree with. And I mean, he laid out, I mean, I know fairly well what they do up there. And like state representatives only get 6 bills a year, the Senate gets as many as they want, you know, but he laid out how exactly it's done. You know, I mean, he was wonderful. And you guys have a bunch of stuff from him. There's also, I got a petition from 28 people just in my neighborhood to replace the trees that were cut down. And there's a ton of feet between the sidewalk and the roads. And they even don't even run into the power things. Boy, I wish we had underground power everywhere. But barring that, this is a petition of 28 people that want to see different homes. So, I mean, they've been taking down the trees, and I know the trees needed to come down, but we need to replace them. So I hope you all will consider that. Y'all look at me like, duh.
Well, we know y'all. You caught me off guard. I mean,
we know you were doing
Had to help me.
No, I agree. It's your council comments. I didn't want to stop. I agree completely. I'll sign the petition.
Well, how are we going to get the other 3 here to agree? To put up some
We're gonna look
trees?
into, we're gonna ask Bruce to look into it. I think we talked about this before.
We have talked about it, but now I have a petition.
Well, we can talk about it
If you want
another
mine,
time.
put it on an agenda item.
Yeah, okay.
We'll get some facts and figures first, though. You know, what the
Okay.
cost is and so on.
Lynn, where'd he go? He's gone.
He's gone.
That figures. I gave him a copy of the petition.
Put it on a future agenda
Yeah. Okay. How
for
future?
the new mayor. No,
That's what I was afraid of. No, seriously.
no, we'll do it. He's got to come up with some figures, though.
He is serious.
I know. That's what I'm afraid of.
Anything else?
No.
Thank you. Beavis.
And in comment to your comment, I mean, I'm fine with it. I think the concerns were a lot of the utility things, and if we can get past those, the utilities.
You're talking to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm commenting on your comment, but
Okay.
I mean, it's a utility thing. I don't want to do something that is detrimental to, what we've already got in the ground, but if we can get it in there and make it work, I think it's fine.
There's a lot of
I got a
utilities out there.
couple, a question, I guess, and I've heard this from a couple of people, and I see it, the red light cameras. Do they just go off all the time, or do they go? I'm sitting in an intersection and nobody's running through it, and it's like, Paris Hilton just pulled up at the intersection and
Boy Scouts, Bruce, say goodbye to the Boy Scouts.
goodbye to the Boy Scouts.
Bye, Boy Scouts. Thanks for coming.
I know it's anticipating maybe potentially somebody going through or what, but I'm sitting at Gold Air and nobody's going anywhere, and they're just flashing all over. I didn't know if it. Does it do it every single?
Where do you see them flashing, on the side of the road or on?
Those skylights up.
Oh, lights, yeah, go by at night. But I didn't know if it does it every cycle of the light of the sequence.
Triggered. It should be triggered.
But I don't know if it's triggering in anticipation of some schlep like me pulling up and doing a nosedive, and it's getting pictures anticipating me running through. I don't know what it's doing.
It anticipates
Yeah,
you
we'll
running
check on it.
through.
Yeah.
There he is. He's going to run it.
And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but just for those that are probably going to watch this at home, I mean, that reclaim thing was a very tough decision. But what I want to say is something that Jerry Beaverland said, which is the water system. And I would hate to be sitting here in front of all of those same people and the rest of the city of Oldsmar trying to explain a 10 to 12% rate increase in the water that would be forced upon us. And not tooting our own horn, but as he said to the staff, how many years ago did this project start? And not
Long time.
I mean, this was before the reservoir and before any lawsuits. And because of the actions that we took proactively, foreseeing this point where we turned 100%, by default, we really have saved our city and residents a ton of money.
Yes.
And I mean,
Yes.
so I mean, we do think ahead, and I just want to throw that out there. The other item that I have, and I've heard this on more than one occasion, but I heard several when I was out collecting my petitions, and this is something that the council was torn with about releasing our building department duties to Pinellas County, was I think the mayor may have used the loss of control, or one of us used the term of the loss of control of our permitting process. And on several occasions recently in various parts of the city, I've heard, and I don't want to get into details because I know that there's always three sides to every story. I'm hearing what they're saying, and
Yes.
and I don't know the county side of it, and I don't know the cities, but there is definitely some confusion. There's a case where a builder built something into an easement. Our code enforcement people said that it's the county's responsibility to go after the builder, and the county says, no, the agreement that we have is that the code enforcement is the city's responsibility. So, and I don't know the answer. I've got the address of where it is, but it just to me sounded like a little bit of, this, and that's the one thing that we didn't want was that to be a concern where we as a city, we're not servicing our customers and our clients the way that we are so used to doing. And I bring that up on what we hope is, a very prosperous year for the city of Oldsmar with maybe some new construction and, potentially some new homes. And I don't want to see that be a problem with getting building permits and things like that.
Well, when something like that, I don't know whether you talked to Bruce about this, but when something like that comes up, I immediately, in fact, Jerry will verify this, I immediately come to Bruce.
Sure.
And tell him what the problem is, and then I follow up with him, because for him to find out just exactly what did happen between the three of them.
And the reason, and I normally do that to Bruce too, but the reason I wanted to bring it up is I wanted to get maybe the other councils, I don't know if they've heard anything, but that's one, but I've heard of numerous things, and I know, there are other people that what we hear is, well, they were trying to cut corners or they were doing this and our people were, so again, I say there are three sides to every story but what we don't want is confusion and people not getting their permits.
When we discussed this, at that time, when we went to the county, we made it very plain, all or in my mind anyway, that if it did cause a lot of confusion, and if there was a lot of complaints, and a lot of stuff happened that wasn't what we thought should happen, we go back to our own.
Well, that was my reason to bring that up is, you know, we did this, but we wanted to keep a pulse on it, I think,
Yes.
you know, and to see where we are. Has it been a year, 6 months, 8 months? Has it?
Been about 14 or 15.
14. So, I mean, I know initially we had some bugs to work out, and maybe there's some things that we can resolve with this, but it's the thing that we were most afraid of was losing control and not providing the service that the city of Oldsmar is used to providing.
Well, that's what I talked with Bruce and then Jerry about, you know, get together and find out exactly, because a lot of people will not come in, they'll tell you, or they'll tell the mayor, or they may tell me, but.
And I told the person that told me this, I said, I'm not taking your word for this. I said, you know, there are multiple sides to every story, and I know having dealt with
Well,
municipalities.
sometimes it does happen.
Yeah.
That's the address.
My concern is that the county is also getting busier, so.
Right.
Are we getting put on the back burner a little bit because every kind of complaints?
And I'm not saying it's us.
A few things.
Very good point, Mayor, and that was my thing. I don't know where it is, but that we're seeing development, so are they, you know, and they're sure going to do their projects over ours.
I think you'll see in the next year or so that the city of Oldsmar is going to have some development that's going to.
Yes.
And we don't want our development, you're right, we don't want our development put on the back burner.
Right. And I don't know. And other than that, I will not be here for the next meeting, so Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody.
Merry Christmas and be
Have a
safe.
good time.
And I'll tell you what
With
we'll
my
do.
mom.
We'll even give you an excuse if the mayor will allow it.
It'll be on the next agenda.
Councilmember Norris.
Table that to
First of all, I don't know if it's as cold out there as it is up here.
I know,
but
isn't it
it is freezing. I really hope we can do something about that.
That AC guy did a really good
I'm
job.
freezing.
Well, it wasn't working before you got here.
I would
All
have
those people
preferred
left.
that.
All those people left and it got really
Oh, no, you wouldn't. I was in here.
It feels good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to thank all the Boy Scouts too for coming. They really toughed it out. They toughed it out for an hour and 45 minutes before they all left. And
Mayor's breakfast.
I wanted to thank all of you who signed my petitions and helped get my petition signed. Becky and Richard and Perry and Jim, y'all know who you are. Thank you so much. It's going to be an honor to serve another 3 years. And congratulations, Mayor-elect Beavis.
Thank you.
And Councilmember.
Got some big shoes to fill.
Miller.
Goofy shoes, too, sometimes.
Oh, you're goofier than him. This is going to be
No, I
fun.
meant his shoes.
I'm not going to be able to make the mayor's breakfast because I'll be out of town, but I did make a donation, Mayor, so I wanted you to know that. And the last thing I wanted to do, again, congratulate the Lisa and Jana and everybody involved in the water plant. And I had asked her how we were doing on the LEED certification because I just think it would be so cool to be first, #1 in the country, and we won't know, but maybe it's looking like we'll get it. Lisa told me it's looking like that. We'll get it early in the year. And it will just be so neat if we're first. I mean, second's going to be cool too.
No, it's
Don't
not.
get me wrong. Yeah, it will. It still will. But first would be better. So congratulations again. And that's it.
All right, thank you. The only thing I got is nobody mentioned
thank
Christmas
you,
Wonderland
Jerry.
Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you don't have
Snowing in Oldsmar
kids.
this coming Friday, right, if you don't have kids, but it's quite an event to see. I will not be there. I'll be out of town. It usually goes well without me being there. I'm always out of town.
And it's kind of neat. I know the city posts a lot of stuff on the city website, and I repost on mine, and I have just a few friends on my Facebook page, but it's amazing how far outreaching I'm getting comments that have kids that they're like, wow, that's really neat. So, you know, it exposes our city to.
we get a couple thousand people.
101 likes on your mayor thing. You got more than a few friends on Facebook.
Oh, you looked early. That way.
Is it a couple hundred now?
And then I want to invite everybody to the mayor's breakfast on, was it the 14th?
Yep.
14th, 7:30 a.m. at Nielsen, $25 a ticket, and all the proceeds go to our charity here in Oldsmar and then Safety Harbor. So
And a video. That's going to be cool.
And we've got a video coming out that Mr. Cusson says is going to go viral, so let's hope that doesn't happen, but
Put it on the chamber website, Jerry.
Yeah.
The mayor's, for those of us that can't be at the breakfast, put the video on the chamber website for us.
let's let the mayor see it first. Might show last year's video.
We'll be in Nielsen and we'll get it on city television and our website.
Nice.
Nice.
And I want to also thank all the residents that came and spoke. You know, unfortunately, we had to do what we had to do, but it wasn't something that we did lately, as you had said. We had workshops with this. We had several discussions at meetings, and
Studies and,
at the end of the day, I think we did the fairest thing that we can possibly do.
Well, in 1990, he brought up about the drainage thing, and I thought, What was it, 75 cents or $1, whatever it was?
We started at $1.50 a month.
And I kept saying, it's not a fee, it's a tax, you're taxing everybody.
Right.
But then I agreed to do it, but what it's done, our drainage system here is incredible, even though it has to drain into the bay.
Yep.
But high tide. So that worked out, that has worked out great.
Well, not only that, but we had to replace a lot of stuff in
Yeah, the
the old part of
infrastructure,
town, you know, and that cost,
Yep. So,
you know.
Well, I mean, again, and talking about fairness to the city and the way we think things through, we went through that whole study, and I live in an area where we pay for our own storm sewer, and the study said that, you know, and I mean, so we are really trying to look at the thing globally, and you know, as you said, we don't take things lightly. So.
Well, you pay for you pay for everything in.
Everything behind the gate.
Everything behind that gate you pay for, they're not paying for it.
Yeah.
Including the road, right?
Right, including the roads, yeah.
I don't have anything else. Need a motion for the tentative agenda?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Over. Finished.